Hi and welcome to Teach Star, and today we're going to be looking at what we mean in teaching with a positive mindset. What do we mean by positive mindset, and how do we actually produce a positive mindset in ourselves and in our students? So the idea of positive mindset is not limiting yourself to what you think you can and can't do. Everyone starts your subject with absolutely no chance of passing the exam at the start of the course, and hopefully at the end of the course everyone is sitting there happy that they can pass it. But the bit in between is really important, that at the start of your course, before they've learned anything about it, they will not pass, they will fail miserably. And if they keep that feeling throughout the time with you and your teaching and your course, then they will fail at the end. And it's as simple as that. It's a what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy, that if you believe you're going to fail, you will fail. And it's kind of, I always think about sports, that if a player, a football player or a tennis player, if they go into the match thinking they're going to lose, that they're the underdog and they're going to lose really badly, then they will lose, because everything that goes bad in the game then reaffirms that feeling that they're going to lose the game. And they feed on that kind of fear and that expectation they're going to fail. But if you look at the interviews before a tennis match, before a football game with the players, they always say stuff like, I think I've got a really good chance, I think that this is going to be competitive, but I think I've got the edge, I think I can do this, or I think our team are really, really strong, and you shouldn't write us off because actually we can be quite plucky, and we're the underdogs, so the crowd will be behind us. And they don't say, that the other team are way better, they're going to win, and that you never see that from them. And it's important that they don't believe that they believe they can do it. And it's the same with our students in the classroom. There are some difficult topics within our subjects, and there's things that we know that students are going to struggle on. And completely ignoring that and going, for goodness sake, you should understand this, is not necessarily a positive mindset. Forcing people to have beliefs is not a positive mindset. Positive mindset is understanding that something's difficult, and they have to understand it's difficult. And as a teacher, you need to say to them, this topic today is actually quite difficult, and you'll need to really concentrate today. They have to know that there's a challenge, but they have to believe that they can get there. And the way of doing it in teaching really is to break a big challenge up into small pieces. So instead of them seeing a huge mountain, they're just seeing that little bit of a road to the next point, to the camp, and they can walk that bit. And then they can see the camp, the next camp up there. It's challenging, but it's achievable. And they do that next bit. And they do it bit by bit at a time. One really important word in a positive mindset is the word yet. I can't do this yet. I find this really difficult and I don't think I'm going to get there yet. It doesn't work for every sentence. But they need to believe that they can get there. And our job as teachers is to give them that belief. Not hide away from the challenge and say, this isn't difficult, you should understand this. But show them that there's a challenge, break it up, and make it seem achievable. And actually make it achievable as well. And it's really important for your lesson creation to think, right, this is a really tricky topic today. Actually, I probably need 2 lessons on this. An important aspect of positive mindset as well is to make students realise when they've got to the top of that mountain, when they've actually gone through those couple of lessons, or maybe a week or maybe a month, and they've done all those little bits, that show them that they've reached the top of that topic, show them they understand it, because that gives them the belief for the next topic, the next challenge. So positive mindset needs to have some payoffs. There needs to be some acknowledgement that their hard work on those little steps actually paid off. And when you've got students with a positive mindset, they are very, very patient, and they are much, much harder working. That they'll understand that there's a purpose to every little part of it, and they'll understand that there's a goal and there's something to achieve at the end of it. Now, with teachers, I think that teachers, generally speaking, can be very variable with positive mindset themselves. How many teachers have I heard in the staff room say, that class just not going to get it, they're a bad class, and etc., etc. Like, we've all been there. But a teacher with a positive mindset will see that as a challenge and will say, okay, that's a difficult class. Right, how am I going to get them on board? They're a difficult class and they're not working for me yet. And instead of seeing this as I have to get this absolutely right in one lesson, no teacher does that. What you need to do is break it down into small steps with your groups. Okay, so at the end of this lesson, what I'm going to have is Jimmy sitting in his chair at the start. That would be amazing. If I could just have Jimmy sit down. Doesn't matter for the rest of the lesson. As long as Jimmy's sitting down at the start of the lesson, then I've kind of hit my mark. I've got to the first camp within the mountain. And then the next lesson, right, okay, now I want Jimmy to actually produce some work. It doesn't have to be great, but it has to be something that he's written down on paper and I can see at the end. And as a teacher, you need reinforcement. You need to evaluate yourself. Now, you're not going to get have another person say to you necessarily on a weekly basis, oh, you've done a really good job with that group. And yes, we get observed, every so often, but you need to build that in yourself. You need to have reflective time at the end of the week and think, actually, yeah, I did really well this week. That group are slightly better, like they are improving, and that's really, really important that you self-evaluate and think, yeah, okay, yeah, I've achieved that. I'm not where I want to be with that group, but I've got a little bit closer, and next week I'll get that little bit closer still. And I think positive mindset's a really, really good umbrella over a whole load of things. And previous videos I've talked about elements of a positive mindset, but positive mindset is kind of the whole thing. It's about making sure that you believe you can do it. And I think when teachers give up, then you've kind of lost with your groups if you've given up. And you've got to ask yourself whether you want to be a teacher, I believe, at that point. Because there's no groups I've come across, and I've come across very, very difficult groups in some of the most challenging schools. I've never given up, I've never written them off, and I've never got to a point where they haven't been improving, because I keep myself positive, and most teachers do, and most teachers will look at this and go, oh, that's exactly what I do. If you're not thinking that, then you need to start evaluating yourself and start thinking, well, hang on, is this me or is it them? Because everyone has difficult groups, but a lot of teachers overcome that with being positive and breaking down the big task into small chunks and believing that they will get there with the groups. And trust me, you will get there with your groups. If you're continually evaluating your practice, improving your practice, really planning your lessons, you will get there with that group. So I hope that's helpful, and please leave any comments down in the bottom bit there if you've got any comments on today's video. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 5 o'clock in the evening. Thank you.